A man was running from the police. He accidentally fell into the nuclear wastewater, but after 2 days and nights of immersion, the man miraculously climbed back up. At this time, his whole body had turned black. Not only that, even the blood he coughed up was black. Enzo thought he was going to die. When he got home, he hugged the toilet and vomited. He threw up a lot of nuclear lung water, but the weirdness didn't stop there. Late into the night, Enzo had 2 heavy blankets. He was still shivering from the cold. He covered himself tightly, but it couldn't stop shivering. But after Enzo slept for days, his body miraculously recovered. Not only that, that day at work, he accidentally fell from the 18th floor. Then he hit the ground hard. The next moment, Enzo suddenly opened his eyes, looking at such a high floor. He was fine. Enzo was so scared that he ran back home. He was about to eat his favorite yogurt to calm down, but then he heard the noise of his neighbors. He was furious. Then he punched the door, but what he didn't expect was he punched through the thick steel door. The woman on the other side of the door, frowsy on the spot in fear, and then he easily pulled out a 2-meter-long wardrobe. He blocked the door with one push. At that moment, Enzo also felt that his body was not right. Then, to test it, he took down a 2-ton radiator with his bare hands. With a little bit of force, he pressed a 2-ton iron plate straight into shape. That's when Enzo finally realized that he had superpowers. Then he didn't choose to be chivalrous. Instead, he set his sights on a mini transport machine. This big, fat, super fat guy. He wanted to teach Enzo a lesson, but Enzo just pulled out a hand. He lifted the 200 kilograms fat man over his head. The other bad guys were blindsided by this scene. Then the fat man was thrown to the ground with a click. It turns out that just 2 days ago, Enzo accidentally fell into the nuclear wastewater. He came back up and gained superpowers. Not only can he bend a radiator with his bare hands, he even fell from a tall building without any problem. It's a blessing in disguise, isn't it? However, gaining superpowers, Enzo went to do what he dared not do before. At night, after arming himself, Enzo went to the cash machine and began to pound on the cash machine. The next moment, Enzo saw that there was no effect. He then moved the cash machine. Unfortunately, all the money inside was soaked in ink, so Enzo had to chase the money truck again. He saw the right moment to hit it with a rock, and the next moment, oh my god, he blew a tire out of the car with a rock. Then he jumped on the car and broke the bulletproof glass and threw the driver out. Then he went to the back of the car and hammered on the door. Then he took all the money. This scene infuriated the bad guys who were planning to rob it. They shot the air in anger. At the same time, on the other side, after Enzo got the money, he stocked up a fridge full of yogurt, and when he eats yogurt, he only licks the lid twice and threw away the rest. However, the consecutive robberies soon attracted the attention of the netizens. Zingaro was immediately drawn to Enzo's superpowers on TV, so he found Enzo, and without saying a word, he shot him. However, when Enzo woke up mummified. The man fell into the nuclear wastewater. When he came up, he gained superpowers. Not only can he bend radiators with his bare hands, he can even safely fall from tall buildings. After Enzo's powers were discovered by the netizens, the bad guy Zingaro found Enzo. He shot Enzo without saying a word. When Enzo woke up, he found himself mummified. Then Zingaro threatened Enzo to reveal the secret of his mutation so that the two of them could use the powers to take out all the FBI, and then they could live a life of lawlessness. Enzo knew that if Zingaro got his powers, he would be a great danger to society, so he turned down Zingaro. But that's when Zingaro threatened him with the life of his girlfriend. Enzo finally realized the gravity of the situation. He had no choice but to take Zingaro to the pool. He told Zingaro about the nuclear wastewater, but just then Zingaro's nemesis arrived, and after 800 rounds of fighting, Zingaro was set on fire by the bad guys with a musket. Then he jumped into the wastewater pool to stay alive. The bad guy watched the water calm down and left, but the next morning, a black hand appeared out of nowhere. Unsurprisingly, Zingaro also gained superpowers. Then Zingaro, with his powers, went on a rampage. Even the old lady. At the same time, Enzo saw what Zingaro did on TV and knew that only he could stop Zingaro. Then he found Zingaro. They meet and start fighting, but both of them are immortal. They fought for a month, but there was no winner. But at the last moment, Enzo picked up Zingaro. They flew into the river together, followed by an explosion. Zingaro stayed at the bottom of the river forever. Enzo escaped with his superpowers. Since then, Enzo has been silently guarding the city. This is the end of the film. What would you do if you had superpowers? Tell me your answer in the comments section. We'll see you next time.